Let me ask you something real. Did you actually like your first crush? Or did you just feel pressured to have one? Because in school, not liking anyone wasn't normal. It was suspicious. Someone would lean over and whisper, "Who do you like?" And if you said, "No one," they'd look at you like you failed a test. So you picked someone. Not because your heart skipped a beat, not because you felt deep connection, but because socially, you needed an answer. Today on SOHAG'S Tutorials, we're diving deep into the psychology behind childhood crushes. Why we aim for people out of our league, why rejection sometimes didn't hurt as much as we expected, and why the relationships we weren't ready for caused more damage than rejection ever did. If you've ever had a crush that made no logical sense, hit, like right now, and let's unpack your past. 1. When having a crush felt required, as kids, attraction wasn't always authentic. It was social survival. Psychology calls this normative social influence. We adjust our behavior to fit in. When everyone around you had a crush, your brain thought, if I don't have one, I'm different. And as children, being different feels dangerous. So we scanned the classroom, 25 faces, limited options, and someone became the one. Not because of compatibility, but because proximity plus pressure equals selection. At that age, we didn't have personal standards yet. We didn't know what emotional safety meant. We didn't understand attachment, communication, or shared values. So our criteria were simple. She's pretty. He's funny. She's nice. He's good at sports. That was enough. Our prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for deeper reasoning, wasn't fully developed, so we relied on visible traits and popularity. We weren't shallow on purpose. We were developing. 2. Why we liked the popular ones. Almost everyone had that unreachable crush. The intelligent one, the athletic one, the admired one. You barely spoke to them, but you admired them intensely. Why? Because of something called the halo effect. When someone has one impressive trait, intelligence, confidence, beauty, our brain assumes they're impressive overall. We don't just see smart, we see amazing. Add to that social proof. When many people like someone, we assume they must be valuable. If everyone wants them, they must be special. And here's the deeper layer. Sometimes we weren't attracted to them. We were attracted to what being chosen by them would mean. If they picked you, it raised your status. It validated your worth. It told the world and yourself that you mattered. And when we realized we had no chance, we weren't devastated, we expected it. 3. The competition effect. Sometimes your crush liked your friend, and surprisingly, you handled it. Because your brain reframed the situation. He's a good guy? He's confident? That makes sense. This is called cognitive reappraisal. Adjusting your interpretation to reduce emotional pain. Instead of, I wasn't good enough, your brain says, that outcome is logical. And here's another truth. We're often more attracted to people who are already desired. Competition increases perceived value. If others want them, they feel rare. And rarity feels exciting. Sometimes it wasn't love. It was the thrill of competition. 4. School dances, emotional spotlights. Let's talk about school dances. If you danced with someone, it wasn't casual, it was an announcement. Classmates would react instantly. Ooh! Public actions amplify emotions. Psychologists call this commitment bias, and when we act publicly, we feel pressure to stay consistent with it. So asking the same person to dance every time? That wasn't random, it strengthened your attachment. Add teasing, embarrassment, adrenaline, and your brain locks in the memory. That's why childhood crushes feel so intense even years later. High emotional arousal creates stronger memory encoding. But public excitement isn't the same as private compatibility. 2 people can enjoy the spotlight without actually being right for each other. 5. When nothing really happens. Sometimes both people know. You like them, they know, your friends know, but nothing progresses. Why? Because admiration isn't enough. Real connection needs shared humor, shared interests, shared emotional rhythm. Psychology calls this the similarity attraction effect. We bond more deeply with people who reflect parts of us. If conversations feel forced, if there's no deeper alignment, the crush stays surface level, and eventually it fades, not because you fail, but because there was nothing strong enough to build on. 6. The confidence reset. Then life shifts. New school, new environment, new identity, and something powerful happens. You grow. Confidence sometimes comes from starting over. In a new space, you're not defined by your past. You rebuild yourself. You improve socially. You become more comfortable in your skin. And when you return months later, you feel different. And suddenly your old crush responds differently too. They flirt back. And it feels electric. Why? Because of self-expansion theory. We're attracted to experiences that make us feel like we're growing. If someone who once felt unreachable now shows interest, it feels like proof that you leveled up. But here's the twist. Moments created in high emotion don't always survive in low emotion. 7. The number and the distance. A kiss on the cheek, friends cheering, a phone number memorized carefully. It feels like victory. Then you call, and everything changes. I'm not comfortable. I don't think we should. What happened? Context change. In public, adrenaline is high. Social pressure is strong. Saying yes feels exciting. In private, clarity returns. This is called situational influence. Our behavior shifts depending on environment. It doesn't always mean dishonesty. Sometimes it means emotion faded once the audience disappeared, and that hurts because you experienced the high before the drop. 8. Why rejection wasn't the worst part. Here's something surprising. Rejection from someone you believed was out of your league often hurts less than a chaotic relationship. Why? Because you expected it. That's defensive pessimism, preparing for disappointment to protect your self-esteem. When rejection happens, it confirms what you mentally rehearsed. It stings, but it doesn't shatter you. What hurts more? Being accepted when neither of you are emotionally ready. 9. Relationships before maturity. When two people enter a relationship out of curiosity, loneliness, or validation, it creates pressure. Daily communication, jealousy, insecurity, misunderstandings. Without emotional maturity, attachment styles clash. One fears abandonment, the other fears losing independence, and suddenly what felt exciting becomes stressful. Sometimes we weren't in love, we were chasing validation. Being chosen felt like proof we were worthy, but real worth isn't built from someone else's attention. It's built from understanding yourself. Final message, your childhood crushes weren't failures, they were lessons. They showed you what attracts you, what intimidates you, how ego shapes desire, how social pressure influences choice. The person you liked at 9, you wouldn't choose them the same way today, because you've grown. Your standards evolved, your self-awareness evolved, your understanding of connection evolved, and that's the point. Attraction matures as you do. If this made you think about someone from your past, comment their first initial below. Was your biggest heartbreak a rejection or a relationship that should have never started? If this video helped you understand your past even a little better, hit like so more people can learn this. Share it with someone still confused about their crush. And subscribe to SOHAG'S tutorials, because here we don't just explain psychology, like we use it to grow. I'll see you in the next one. Stay aware, stay evolving.